So what if I told you there's a single, powerful secret to building incredible wealth? A secret discovered by one of the richest men who ever lived and then tested for over 2 decades on thousands of people. Well, according to Napoleon Hill, that secret is real. So today, let's dive in and try to unlock the central mystery of his classic book, Think and Grow Rich.
Right from the very beginning, Hill throws down a challenge. He tells you straight up, there's a secret formula for getting rich woven into every single chapter of this book. But he's not going to just tell you what it is. It's kind of like a puzzle, just waiting for the people who are truly ready to figure it out for themselves.
All right, so where in the world did this incredible formula come from? Well, the backstory is just as fascinating as the secret itself, and it all starts with an absolute legend of industry, Andrew Carnegie.
Okay, so picture this. More than 25 years before this book ever came out, Andrew Carnegie pulls a young Napoleon Hill aside and shares his secret with him. But, of course, there was a catch. Carnegie challenged Hill to spend the next 20 years, 2 decades of his life researching this secret and getting it ready to share with the world. Hill took on the challenge, and this book is him making good on that promise.
And just look at the names Hill claims used this secret. We're talking about the heavyweights who built America, inventors like Thomas Edison, presidents like Theodore Roosevelt, and of course business visionaries like Henry Ford and John D. Rockefeller. The proof, Hill argues, is right there in what they were able to achieve.
Now for our first big clue, and this is so important. The secret isn't some get-rich-quick trick. It's a really deep fundamental idea about how reality works, and more importantly, the power that's sitting right inside your own mind.
Hill's entire philosophy really hinges on this one core idea. Thoughts are things. He's basically saying that every single great achievement, every huge fortune, it all starts as a simple, invisible thought. But, and this is the key, when you take that thought and you mix it with a super clear purpose, a ton of persistence, and a burning hot desire, it literally starts to transform into its physical, real-world equivalent.
This is the very last sentence you read before Chapter 1 even begins. It's like his final hint before the journey starts. And he's making one thing absolutely 100% clear. Everything you see around you, from the chair you're sitting in to the tallest skyscraper, started as nothing more than an idea in someone's head.
So how does a simple idea actually become a reality? Hill's best example of this is the incredible story of a man named Edwin C. Barnes, who literally thought his way into becoming a partner with the one and only Thomas A. Edison.
You see, Barnes started out with absolutely nothing except a burning desire. Not just a wish, a desire. He was dead set on working with Edison, not just for him. So he hops a freight train to get to Edison's lab, shows up broke, and takes whatever low-level job he can get. But the whole time he never loses sight of his one big goal. And when his big chance finally shows up, a new machine that nobody else believed in, he jumped on it, and the rest is history.
And let's focus on that for a second, because the specifics here are everything. Barnes didn't have some vague wish to be successful. He had a definite, razor-sharp goal, to be a business associate of Edison. It's that clarity, that absolute certainty of purpose, that gives a thought real power.
But you know, for every success story like Barnes, there's a flip side. Hill shares a pretty dramatic cautionary tale to show us the #1 reason why most people fail.
The story's about a guy named R.U. Darby, whose uncle hit the jackpot during the gold rush. I mean, they were pulling out trays of ore, making a fortune. And then, just like that, the gold vein vanished. They drilled and drilled, came up with nothing, and finally, totally frustrated, they just gave up. They quit.
So they sold all their equipment for almost nothing to a local junk man and just went home, completely defeated. But the junk man, he was smart. He hired a mining engineer who took one look and realized the gold vein was still there, just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. 3 feet! That junk man went on to make millions from their mine.
And the lesson here is just so powerful. Darby realized later that they hadn't actually failed. They just quit. And Hill says, this is it. This is the #1 reason people don't succeed. They give up when they're hit with what feels like defeat, but is really just a temporary setback, often right when they're on the cusp of a breakthrough.
So what was the real difference between Barnes and his amazing success and the Darbys and their tragic failure? It wasn't luck. It wasn't even opportunity, really. It all came down to the mindset they chose to operate from.
Hill draws a really clear line in the sand between 2 ways of thinking. There's failure consciousness, which is always focused on what's impossible. It sees defeat as the end of the road and gives up.
Then there's success consciousness, which looks for what works, sees defeat as just a learning experience, and has what Darby called stickability, that grit and persistence to just keep going. And honestly, the whole philosophy kind of boils down to this. Wealth doesn't start with money or connections or even hard work. It starts in your mind. You have to first become success conscious. You have to consciously, deliberately shift your dominant thoughts away from poverty and failure and aim them squarely at success and riches.
And this is maybe the most empowering idea in the whole book. You are the master of your own destiny, for one very simple reason. You and you alone have the power to control your own thoughts. And when you choose to focus those thoughts on a definite purpose with real desire and persistence, you start to literally pull the opportunities you need right towards you.
Now, Hill is really clear that this secret isn't just something you learn from a book. It's something you have to earn, something you have to be ready for. So the real question isn't just what is the secret, it's are you prepared to accept it? And maybe more importantly, are you ready to act on it? What would you do differently starting today if you truly believed your thoughts create your reality?